stuck on the couch with baby. Fortunately, she's got some baby acne. What I wanted to talk about is I posted this screenshot of a forum that I'm on from the What to Expect app. And basically what it is it's women who also have their babies in, I think, November. And they can post questions on the group, and it's like a supportive group. So no big deal. Here's the thing is now that we're all about, so I'm 4 weeks postpartum now. So now that we're going into this 4 or 5, 6 weeks postpartum, a lot of the posts have changed from like survival when they got home with baby to losing weight. And I want to talk about losing weight postpartum because it's one of the reasons I made this docuseries. I haven't posted too much about my nutrition because I've been talking about it here and there, and honestly, I haven't changed much. So there's not really enough video content, in my opinion, to post. So what I want to do, though, is talk about this postpartum weight loss because it's really crucial that we understand what it takes to lose weight and why we don't necessarily focus on it within the first 4 to 6 weeks postpartum. So it's unfortunate that these women are experiencing that, from her husband, but two, when I clicked on the links and read kind of the post and the responses, was a lot of solidarity. However, the solidarity was in that they're just kind of having whatever because it's the holiday season. So they're hoping that come January, they'll focus on, kind of renegotiating their rules around nutrition and focus on weight loss. That they have small meals throughout the day because they are fearful of gaining weight, but yet they're gaining weight. We also have to consider their sleep is probably off because we all have newborns. And they're sleeping how they sleep, right? So that increases just weight retention, I would say, stress on the body. So there's a lot of things there. Now, when we want to talk about weight loss, we need to know, let me backtrack this. Let's talk about how we get to a weight loss from a coaching perspective. So first, we need to see how much food you can eat that makes your body not lose or gain weight. So that is called your maintenance. So if we focus on how much food we can eat without losing weight, that's never usually a goal for women. They always want to know how much can I eat to lose weight. But what I'm saying is how much can you eat to feel good, to have better energy, to sleep better, to make sure your body's recovering, to make sure that your body's healing, that make sure your nails are growing and strong, that your hair isn't falling out, that you can feel like having sex postpartum. I know, but those are things that we look at. So a lot of women don't like maintenance because they're always focused on losing weight. The goal is always to lose weight. And they're fearful that if they eat that much, they're actually going to gain weight. And I promise you, you won't. That's why it's called maintenance. Now, if you're over consuming what your body needs to survive and just run and make you feel good, then yeah, you're going to gain weight. And sometimes we actually want to gain weight. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to gain fat mass because there's a difference between fat mass and muscle mass. It could mean that we're fueling our body to gain additional muscle mass. So yes, we would gain weight, but we actually look leaner and stronger because we have additional muscle now. So that's kind of just the preliminary for this. And I want you to keep that in mind. Now, like I said, when I went into the forum and read the comments and kind of the posts, the women were largely doing things that would make them gain weight. And we see this a lot in coaching is I'm trying to eat less and less and less, and I've always been eating less for fear of gaining weight. Or I'm saying fuck it because it's the holidays and then I'll start in January. And so you're just over consuming. Or these patterns were there all year. So maybe we tried to diet before we got pregnant. And then we got pregnant and said, okay, well, now I'm just eating for two. I'm just going to eat a bunch, or I'm going to eat what I want, or like I'm going to give into these cravings. And without really understanding, like, do we have the cravings because we're not eating enough? Or do we have the cravings because maybe we're not getting enough of a certain nutrient as well? So there's a lot there, and it's unfortunate that there's not better guidance and information for these women because they believe it's their fault, and it's not. And it's not to say there isn't some liability to the individual, but it's to say it's not your fault that you've been given shitty information, but we need to do better. And the reason why we're gaining weight postpartum is because these behaviors that you're doing were probably there before you had the baby or before you were pregnant. And I say that with probably about, like, we'll say 92% accuracy just from my coaching experiences. When I get to the root of these issues, a lot of this problem was there before we were even pregnant, before we were even considering a baby. So for example, holiday season, a lot of times the mindset is, fuck it, like, it's the holidays, I don't want to diet right now. And you should never be on a diet during the holidays anyways. But I don't want to diet. I've been dieting all year and I just want to enjoy it. And then we have the Christmas parties or the holiday parties. Somebody makes a really good food, and so we start having that throughout the week. We're not doing our basic bare minimums. That is something that you've probably done every year. Now, the difference is that when you decided to get pregnant, or got pregnant, you do gain weight during pregnancy, obviously, because you're growing a baby. You are going to retain some of that weight because your body needs to build and recover. And it's not like we just have a baby and then everything goes away. Like, you're just back to your pre-pregnancy weight. So you're already at a higher weight, and then we're doing these traits and behaviors that have been there before, which cause weight gain. And then it starts a cycle of January comes around. We do want to focus on losing weight. We cut calories. We don't even know how much to cut. We just goes to a strict, like, either a certain diet trend or decide that you're going to track calories at 1,200 to 1,500 calories, which is way below, I promise, what you should be eating for a weight loss phase. So it's really challenging because I see this and I see my own body, and I measure myself or weigh myself every day. My weight has plateaued. I initially had lost about 20 pounds. Again, fluid, again, stress on the body, again, just having literally a baby in me. So it's one of those things of not every woman experiences that. And I did a post about it, and kind of a catchy gimmick one. But here's the thing for postpartum weight loss, and here's how you'll achieve it. Is one, postpartum, I would say at least for 6 months, bare minimum 6 months, just commit to focusing on recovering your body, focusing on establishing behaviors and habits that are going to last you a lifetime, that are going to last you for maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5, that are going to last you where you can teach your children better habits around nutrition. So just give yourself 6 months, and that's going to be really hard. We also need to make sure that our sleep is on point, that we're not waking up 1,000 times throughout the night. And that's going to be almost impossible because it's destined that our kids are going to get sick, right? Then we also need to focus on rehabbing our body. So it made a lot of changes internally that we don't necessarily see. And we need to make sure that we are fueling, so giving it nutrition, eating enough, that your body can repair itself. So for example, when you take away those calories, you're taking away nutrition, you're taking away energy, you're taking away supply to recover. And so sometimes your recovery is prolonged because of lack of having enough food. And it's really unfortunate because I bet you don't know that, or most women don't know that. And so not only are you in a deficit of not eating enough, hormones are not optimal, right? We're not sleeping well. And then our body's still having a hard time recovering. Sorry, I'm going to fix the camera. So here's what it will do is, if you're looking for weight loss, I want you to wait 6 months. And then I want you to consider over these 6 months, what are the things you're telling yourself? What are the habits that you have? Identifying, do I just kind of emotionally eat at the end of the night? Am I in the pantry at the end of the night? Do I wake up in the morning and try and wait to have breakfast so that way my body uses its fat for energy? Am I working out for an hour every day trying to, lose weight? Only then, once we establish what's happening of these behaviors, can we move forward and create change. So for those of you who track calories, what you can do is I would just track your calories on a day of eating and see what it comes out to. If it's somewhere around 2,000 to 2,500, we need to look at what we're eating too. So if it's mostly processed food, let's try and change that slowly but surely by incorporating more whole foods. If your protein is under, we'll say 100 grams, how can we add more protein in? And not just by shakes and bars, but like actual meat. If your fiber is less than 25 grams, what do we need to do to get that up to 25? And so, like, for example, say your protein is at 80 grams and you're like, oh, I'm 20 grams short. What you would say for the next 2 weeks is I'm going to try and get 85 grams. And then you would get 85 grams. Once you've gotten that consistently, go to 90. You're not going from 80 to 100. Because if you're doing that, you're essentially adding in another meal throughout the day. And most people are going to be very fearful of that. Fiber-wise, you do the same thing. Say you're only at 10 grams per day on average. Let's see if we can get to 15. Let's see if we can get to 20. That's how you will create that change. By increasing the fiber and the protein, just those itself, you're going to be adding in more food, but they're going to hopefully be more nutrient-dense food, more whole foods. We also want to look at fats. So notice I haven't even mentioned carbs. So it's always protein, fats, and fiber that I look at first. Fats are great. They're great for your hormones. They're great for rebuilding. They're great for providing energy. So are we at least getting 65 grams of that? If we're not, we need to increase it. Stop doing these low-fat, low-carb stuff. It's not helping. You've tried it before. You can say keto worked for me before, carnivore worked for me before, plant-based worked for me before. It worked for you before, and now where are we? Is really the question. So you're going back to something that didn't allow you to create something sustainable, i.e. weight loss or whatever body composition change you're looking for. If you don't track calories, whether that's because of prior history of restrictive eating, history of eating disorder, or it puts you in a bad mental space, totally understand, then we need to either do a food journal or take pictures of our meals and use an app to upload them so you can see them over time. What you want to look for, does my plate have at least a third of protein, lots of color? That's mainly what I go for with my clients. If it doesn't have a lot of protein, at least a palmful, and at least probably 2 handfuls of fiber or vegetables, then we need to add, and that's where we'd start. So again, you're doing the same thing as increasing the calories or the numbers that you have on the protein and fiber as the calorie counter is, but now we're doing it in a different way of just seeing it and creating kind of a mental picture of it. Once we've done that and you've been eating that way consistently with mostly whole foods, then we can talk about a weight loss phase. Now, for a weight loss phase, to lose 1 pound per week, we need to be in a caloric deficit of 500 calories. What that means is if you need to lose, let's say 30 pounds, right? So if I have a client who goes, I need to lose 30 pounds, I go, okay, great. That means it'll take you about 30 weeks to do that. Realistically, 30 weeks is more than half a year. We don't want to be in a caloric deficit for more than half a year because your body's going to say, look, this is all she's giving me. I'm going to change my kind of internal processes to savor and hold on to some of this because I don't know if I'm going to be fed enough to have enough energy. And I need to make sure she's got enough energy for work, for feeding, to have a relationship, to go out, to do all the things. So your body holds on to that. Now, say, okay, so I need 30 weeks to lose that weight. I only take a client through the max, maybe 12 weeks of a deficit. So if I've got 12 weeks that I take them through a caloric deficit, that means I've got at least 2 cycles of a weight loss phase because 24 weeks, right? And so I'm missing 6 weeks still, right? So you see where this is a lot more thinking and planning than I'm just going to eat less. And you can say, I'm just going to eat less. That's the easy way. Great. But I promise you what happens when you reach that goal weight. If you do, what are you going to do? Like, what's your plan after that? Do you go back to eating how you normally did? Because that's going to cause kind of a rebound effect, I guess we'll say. So, for example, let's take me, say I need to lose 30 pounds from December, we'll say December to, it would be May, would be my 6 months that I'm tracking and just making sure I'm eating enough. Come June, would be my first 12 weeks. So June, July, August would be a 12 weeks deficit. I need to take a break in there. So maybe September, I do a whole month of eating at maintenance. But now I'm in October, Halloween, November, Thanksgiving, December, Christmas. So I'm back in the same time of year. Do I stay in a diet at that time? Because it's going to be really hard to adjust calories throughout the week, but also to say no to some of my favorite treats. So what I want is for you to consider all of that. And obviously that's not a weight loss plan that I want you to take and do, because it takes a lot more fine tuning. So for example, if your maintenance calories are, we'll say 1700, right? So you eat 1700 a day to maintain your weight. A 500 calorie deficit, so that would mean you're eating 1200 calories a day, is really, really low. So we might consider at that time maybe doing a 250 deficit or focusing more on building muscle so you can increase your calories. But if I take you to a 250 deficit, you're not going to lose a pound per week. If you're looking to lose 30 pounds, you're actually going to increase that to 60 weeks of weight loss. That's a long time. And why I say that is because essentially I'm going to lose half a pound per week. I need to double that duration, right? So 60 weeks. That's more than a year. You are not going to be in a weight loss phase for more than a year. I promise you, because you're going to go on vacation and you're not going to want to eat less on vacation. You're not going to want to be focusing on weight loss during Christmas with your family or Hanukkah or anything like that. So that's when we'd say maybe the beneficial part of going through October, November, December is where we focus on building. And that's where we're at maintenance, or even maybe in a slight increase of maintenance, to just give your body enough nutrients and energy to build muscle. So again, I kind of wanted to give a brief overview of what it really means to lose weight postpartum, because it doesn't happen overnight. There's also that phrase of it took you 9 months to build the baby, it'll take you 9 months to recover. Everybody's different. It depends on the person, it depends on their history. My other question would be, will you feel any different when you lose that weight? What happens if you did lose the 30 pounds? Are you going to want to lose another extra pound? Or let's say you lost 28 pounds. Are you going to keep pushing yourself to lose the extra 2? There's a lot more there. And I want people to understand that it's not about just not going in the pantry at night. It's not about just, having only half of the meal and then maybe half later. It's not about just having smaller meals. There's so much more. So this is something where I would say you need to either do your own research, which is really hard. And if you're not interested in it or you don't have the time, then why are you doing that? Or you need to hire a coach. And I know I say that on the podcast a lot. But again, it's kind of like, yeah, you could do your own yard work and it would take you all Saturday and Sunday, or we could hire somebody that comes out for an hour with a team of 5 and gets it done within an hour. And some people enjoy the journey of learning, and great. I would highly recommend that you consult with someone to help guide you on that. And some people don't want to, and they want to outsource it. As far as like the business side, we have plenty of resources that discuss all of these things that could teach you. And you're welcome to go through the podcast or YouTube or DM me. But at some point, it's going to be, we probably need a coach that does this. And I mean, I've worked with over 100 women. The other coaches I work with, I have worked with over 100 women, and they all have a specialty as well. So I just want you to consider that. It's not as simple as eat less, move more, and I'll lose weight postpartum. And really, the weight loss is one of the last things we should be focusing on. And again, easier said than done. And that's not to say I'm not without my own trials and tribulations with it. I look at my body and I'm like, this is not how I'm used to looking. And it's uncomfortable. Like I've said in other episodes, I want to go into a cut. I want to lean out, but I also am enjoying breastfeeding my baby, and I'm enjoying recovering, and I'm enjoying sitting on the couch and not worrying about tracking in MyFitnessPal right now and planning ahead for the holidays and undulating calories so that way I have a bank for Christmas Day. You know, like there's a lot to it. So I hope this video helps. I know it's kind of probably slow and boring, but those posts really resonated with me and really pissed me off too. I thought this video was going to be a lot more angry, but it was really more sympathetic to their situation. Especially like if your husband is telling you that you need to lose weight, or your significant other is telling you you need to lose weight postpartum, that's probably not the first time that they've said something like that. So something to consider there too of what information are you getting from people about your weight and your body, and how is that suiting you? Is it helping? Probably not, right? So if you found this information helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with anybody that you feel may resonate with this video or needs the information. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'll get them answered for you.